Welcome back, and back to our top story. Members of the Ontario Liberal Party are in Toronto this weekend to vote on the future of Bonnie Crombie's leadership. For more on this, I'm joined live by CTV News political commentator Scott Reid. Scott, thank you so much for joining us. You were listening to Bonnie Crombie's speech. What do you make of it?
Well, I was surprised in a couple of ways. First of all, it was very short. It was supposed to be the keynote speech. She's fighting for her job, literally. There's a review of her leadership where people will cast a ballot as to whether or not she should remain in place or whether there should be a leadership convention. So it was very safe, very short. And I was really struck by how she stayed very close to those sort of safe liberal themes of we're going to fight for opportunity as a party, recognizing where they're at. We're going to work to rebuild our party, re-energize our party. And she talked a little bit about herself. What she did not talk about, and this is what really surprised me, she did not lay the leather on Doug Ford. She didn't take this group of liberals and say, here's the argument against the Conservatives. Here's why we want to defeat this guy, and really ring his bell. She didn't do that. She really kept it to just traditional, safe, liberal themes. And I'm guessing that means that she thinks that's what the room is looking for in order to preserve her leadership.
Yeah, do you think that's going to work for her?
Well, we'll have to see. I mean, here's the truth of the matter. When you talk to 10 liberals, you'll get 11 views as to what the outcome of this leadership meeting was going to be. Like, literally, people have no idea because the party is at a low ebb. And because, therefore, you don't have sort of what you traditionally do in a leadership race like this, sophisticated tracking, campaigns with complexity, who are taking note and counting heads. So it really is a little bit of a Yahtzee. Most people, I think, if you talk to them, tell you that they think she will survive this vote, but maybe with something only in the 60s, which is kind of a lukewarm endorsement. And the traditional line, if you will, the traditional test is, can you get 2/3? 66, 67%. Traditionally, that's been the mark that leaders have to get unless they wish to have to fight and battle for their leadership.
I mean, she's shared a little bit about her own her personal life as well. She shared that she's going to be a grandma and that she wants to build in Ontario for her granddaughter. Sharing that little bit of that personal touch, does that help her?
It probably does. And again, it tries to familiarize herself with the room. I mean, this is, you've got what, maybe 2,000 people. I think she said earlier, 2,400 delegates. That's who's casting these ballots, right? This isn't across the board, isn't every member in the party. This is the 2,400, 2,000 people in the room. So the more that you can try to connect with them personally, really reach out and affect those people and say, okay, I'm the person that's on the line here. That probably helps. And this is familiar territory. She's done this before. She talked about her background, how she had to sort of raise herself up by the bootstraps. It is a compelling story. But then again, a lot of liberals have heard it before.
Is this a united party? She spoke about a party that's united and that wants to win again. But we've seen another kind of group in this as well, the Liberal New Leaf Party, something like that.
Yeah, the New Leaf Liberals. Turn a new leaf, isn't it clever? And some suspect that it's a proxy for a would-be leadership candidate in one camp. I don't think unity is her problem. I don't know that the party is so wildly divided that that's really the challenge. You actually haven't seen that forceful and all-front assault on her leadership. So maybe it's been sneaky, maybe it's been surreptitious, and we'll find that the ballot goes against her. But I don't think unity is her big problem. I think, frankly, her big problem is disengagement. Even among liberals, do they care? Are they enthusiastic enough? Do they believe that she can get the job done? Which is why, if I was going to be blunt, I would have made this speech less safe and more of a real strapping of Doug Ford. I would have tried to convince her to go out there and show that she's got the stuff to take the fight to Ford, that she can be the agent of change. This was maybe a good enough speech. It was solid, a little bit of nerves here and there. But what it was not was that of an absolute battler and brawler who's ready to take on Doug Ford. And I think there might be some people that require that kind of energy in order to get out of their seat and be enthusiastic.
She currently doesn't have a seat in the House. How much do you think that's hurting her in this?
It does hurt. And the reason it hurts is this. How many times are you and I on here on CP24, which dedicates its day in and day out to talking about politics and news? How often are we there talking about the third party in the legislature? It's very difficult for an opposition party to break through and make the news, and for the third party to break through and make the news. And to do that when you don't have the sort of fixed hook of a seat in the legislature, it is tougher. So she's talked about how she's going to try to find the first viable seat when a by-election comes open to run and try to get into the legislature. That could help. That will help probably. But she's going to have to win that battle. And there aren't a ton of safe seats right now for the Liberals.
She spoke about healthcare. I mean, the typical things that we all want in this province: healthcare, housing, making that affordable, making everybody feel safe, education that opens doors. She didn't get into exactly how she sees that happening. Do you think that was a surprise?
No, not necessarily. We have to think about our audiences here. She's literally laser focused on 2,400 Liberals who hold her fate in their hands. This isn't a persuasion argument that she's making to the broader province of Ontario, looking to voters and say, not only am I going to actually open up more hospitals, here's how and how I'll pay for it. Many ways, what she wanted to do today is just register with those Liberals that are present in that room, that cast of 2,000, and say, I am echoing the things that you care about. And that's why we saw her saying, let's focus on opportunity, on making certain that we have a province that's fair, where people can do hard work and get ahead. Healthcare, these are traditional Liberal themes. It wasn't a very deep speech, it wasn't a very long speech, and it wasn't much of a battler speech when it comes to taking on Ford, but she did hit on those sort of traditional, safe Liberal themes.
Okay, thank you so much for this, Scott. Appreciate it. Scott Reid is CTV News political commentator. Thank you.